Hello and welcome to the Elsie Black Oral History Project. My name is Eileen Highland. This project is all about sharing and preserving the real life stories of people living in social housing in Ireland, with a focus on Clúid housing. We want to highlight the everyday experiences, the memories and the voices of residents, the stories that often go unnoticed. It's about recognising the value of these communities and making sure their stories are heard and remembered. Today is the 12th of May 2025 and we're talking with John Duncliffe, who lives at Ard Carrig, Carrigtwohill, County Cork. So John, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell me where you were born and when you were born.
I was born in Cork City on the 21st of April 1959.
1959.
And I resided in 40 Boyces Street.
Okay.
That's just off Downey Street.
Okay, so that's where you were born. And did
Yeah.
you stay there most of your childhood?
Up until I was about 14,
Okay.
13, 14.
Right, so tell me about your family then, your parents, and who was in your family with you.
Well, there was 12 of us in the family. I had 5 sisters and 7 brothers. And my father died young. He died when he was only 47 or 49. And he died in 1971. But my mother went on till she was 89. But not in the same house because they were redeveloping the place. So we had to move out. It was compulsory by.
Okay, so there was a lot of you at home.
There was, but there was I was the youngest, well, the second from the youngest.
Yeah.
So they were all mainly growing up as we were. So they were actually leaving when we were young.
Grand. So tell me about the house you grew up in. Was it a council house?
No, it was a tenement first.
Okay.
And then my mother got the opportunity to buy the 3 of them. So then she turned the middle one into our family home, and then she rented out the other 2 into tenements again.
Yeah.
And then as people were getting moved out of the area, the tenants that were in, they were moved out. So my father done up the houses before he died. He had them all done up. So then my brothers started to move in. When they got married, they moved in. So there was flats, because there was 4 rooms up on top and there was 4 rooms in the bottom. So there was, and the same on all the 3 houses. So my brothers and sisters, then when they were getting married, I had brothers and sisters on either side with their kids.
Wow, that was a nice arrangement.
Well, it was. But then as the time was coming to get out of the house, then they were all rehoused into council houses then.
Okay, perfect, yeah. So tell me about Boyces Street, where you grew up then. How many rooms did you have? Did you have running water, electricity and all
We did.
that?
We had running water, but it was an outdoor toilet.
Okay.
Which for 12 kids was a bit
Wow.
much, but you can imagine if the tenements were there and all the others were there, there was still one toilet. But towards the end, they turned one of the rooms upstairs into a bathroom.
Okay, so you got that.
So we had a bathroom
Yeah.
for most of our lives, really. Because there was, they were all after getting married. So
Yeah. It wasn't so crowded.
it wasn't as crowded.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. And what were the conditions like there? I know you said that your dad did a lot of work, so did he improve it a lot?
He did. Oh, yeah. There were big rooms. There were solid rooms.
Wow.
And I mean, you could get 2 double beds into the one. There were big, massive rooms.
Really? God.
So, with 12, when there was all of us there were double beds, so there was 2 or 3. The girls would be on 2 sides and the boys would be
Yeah.
on the other side. So
Yeah.
it
So
was...
Even with a big family, it was roomy, wasn't it?
Oh, it was roomy, it was.
Wow.
And then downstairs, then my mother and father had their own room downstairs.
Yeah.
Because there was a front room. Because we had a front room, like the parlour, as they say. And then you had where you'd watch the television, and then you had the back kitchen where you'd go in and eat.
All right.
And it was big enough. It was a big square room.
Yeah. That was unusual enough, I suppose, was it? For
It
those
was,
days
there were
that-
big houses.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were big. Like, the windows were actually small, but they left in enough light. They were
Yeah,
big
yeah.
enough. So it made the room look a lot bigger with the small window.
Okay, so what happened then when the council were basically getting rid of all these old tenements and rebuilding?
Rebuilding them.
So what year would that have been, or how old would you have been then?
I'd say I was about 14, could be 13, 14.
Okay. And where did you move to then?
We moved in down to Cathedral Road.
Okay. And what was that like for you? What was the change? What was different about it?
Well, I was actually maturing then. I was after going to secondary school, but the friends that I had, they were all moving out as well. They were gone because a lot of them went up to Gran and a lot of them went to scattered all over the place. But I was getting old enough that I wasn't really mixing with, like you'd go,
Making new
you'd have your
friends.
own friends.
Yeah.
But even though I didn't make new friends down there because I seemed to be doing a lot in the garden or something, doing something with the house and things like that. So I didn't have time because the house wasn't lived in for a long time.
Okay.
So there was a lot of work to be done on it.
Wow. And was your father still alive?
No,
at
my
this
father
stage?
was dead and my
Was he?
father was dead a
Gosh.
long time then. My father died in 71 and I think I was 11, so it was about 4 or 5 years after.
Okay. So there was a lot of work for your mum.
There was a lot of work,
to
but
do.
my brother then was very good.
Okay.
All my brothers were good because they were handy with their hands and they were able to climb. And my brother-in-law was very good as well. So they done an awful lot of the work.
And the
But it came from a change where, like, the rooms up there were big. When we moved into, Cathedral Road, there was only, how many of us there was left? 1, 2, 3. There was only 4 of us left. The rest were all married.
right, yeah. But so it was a downsize almost for you.
It
Then,
was.
wasn't
It was like it was really
Yeah.
because the rooms weren't as big. Even though the front room looked bigger, but my mother again held on to like a parlour because the kitchen was very small. But she said, "Why does she want a big kitchen from?" But eventually, she knocked down the wall to make it into a bigger kitchen, and then.
Yeah.
But it was done one day she went down to church and outside my brother came in, he didn't even take up the carpet and he'd broke down the wall before her. So the wall was done by the time she got in.
Was she pleased?
No.
All right.
But like, 'cause the kitchen was very damp.
Right, yeah.
Eventually then she built up and she made another kitchen out further. But I was in England by that time
Right,
then.
okay. So the move, was it physically a long distance from where you were living? Was it a different type of part of the city, or?
No, Boyces Street, it wasn't. This was over, like we lived, it wasn't really, it was only about 10 minutes walk.
All right, yeah.
But there were a two-sided house. My mother always wanted two-sided houses because she always wanted two-sided houses and she always
Do you mean a
wanted
house
to
on
live.
each side?
Windows on each side, windows.
Oh.
Like, not just the one window on one side. She wanted a window on both sides of her
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
She had notions.
Notions of grandeur. She got her 2 windows.
But we always had the 2 windows because she always had the parlour.
Right, yeah.
And she also had the living room with the kitchen and that.
So do you think for your mum it was a big change? Was it a good move or a bad move for her, moving out there?
She enjoyed it.
Did she?
She did.
Yeah.
Because of the garden, I think it was, and it was a change. I think she just wanted to change. Well, people were moving out anyway.
Yeah.
Because my mother lived all her life in Boyces Street.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah, she was born and reared in Boyces Street.
Okay.
And in Boyces Street, there were lanes going up and down, and there was lanes and there was houses on either side of the lanes. There might have only been little tiggings.
Yeah.
But there was always big families there. And my brother used to know every single one in each.
Go away.
And knew all the lanes and he knew everyone in there. So it was a great community up there.
Okay, yeah.
But then when you're moving down to Cathedral Road, it's on a bigger street.
Okay.
So I say it was strange for her as well.
She must have lost a lot of friends and neighbours.
Well, they were all moving out, as I said, sure.
Okay,
But when she moved, but my mother then was used to be working because she started working up in Cork for years, and years, like.
Yeah.
So she, like, I mean, we were young when my dad died, so she didn't go socialising really, until we were started growing up.
Till she got rid of you all.
Till we got, well, she didn't get rid of us all really. She kept one, she kept two of them.
Right, okay. So the living conditions were probably a bit better maybe in the new house where the possibilities were better.
There was, yeah.
And the garden.
And it was a newer house and there was a bigger garden and like you had a side entrance and she was, like, because the neighbours were all gone anyway, so, and then when we moved in, the neighbours were good in too.
That makes all the difference, yeah. So I suppose the new place then, it took a while to settle in and make friends, and was there the same sense of community, do you think, as there was in Boyces Street?
Well, there probably was, but I moved out then very soon afterwards. I went off to England then.
Yeah.
So I never really got to know Cathedral Road as...
Yeah, and would you say your mum got to know neighbours?
Oh, she did. Oh, she got to know a lot of people
there.
there,
So she'd have
really.
enjoyed the community there, would she?
Oh, she would have had.
Yeah.
She had, but my mother didn't actually... wasn't really a socialiser. She didn't... She had enough children and enough grandchildren to be looking after other than... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but she did. But everyone knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knew because, like, she actually came from that area and the road.
Right. Okay, great. So do you want to tell me why and when did you move then out of Cathedral Road?
When I moved over to England then,
How old would you have been then, John?
about 18, just going on 18, I suppose.
And was that the pattern most of your family had kind of got up and left at that stage? Or?
Well, they all went up and they got married, like, and it was just time to fly the nest. I suppose it was my time and I flew the nest.
Yeah. So going from Cork City out to London, was that huge culture shock? It must have been a big change.
Well, it was a complete change when you're... Well, I was only young as well. I was really very young.
Yeah.
But it was, but in your youth you could take it.
Yeah. It was an adventure.
It was an adventure and it didn't... My mother didn't want me to go.
Oh, didn't she?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. Went over, my sister was going to get married and I went over and then I never came home.
So were you the last boy aside from Abie?
No,
then?
Dennis was there as well. My brother, that's a year over me.
He was still at home.
He was still at home.
Yeah, but she wanted you.
Well, she knows. She just didn't. She thought I was too young, I suppose.
Okay.
So I was, and I probably was. But then when we went over there, it was a bit of a culture shock, really, because we only moved into a one room.
Right. A tiny little bedsit.
A tiny bedsit.
And what part of London was that?
That was in the Borough Market.
Oh, yeah.
That was just the Borough Market in the Borough.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant because, like, the people that were underneath us, we got on with everyone down there. But that was actually owned by Southern Cathedral. They owned it in properties. But they letted them out to a businessman, but he subletted them. There wasn't supposed to be tenants there at all.
Oh.
It was a fire hazard, really, because there was no... But I don't think the church knew, but we just... it was great for us.
Yeah. Cheap rent and...
That's it, but it was only one toilet, one bathroom, and there was about 8 of us there.
Was there really?
There was.
Wow. That was tough.
So we were there for about 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah. And where did you go from there then?
And then, well, Terry then applied for... We went down and we said, look, someone's in the thing said you should go up to the council and apply for...
Oh, so you were doing private renting kind of...
That was private,
that.
yes,
Okay,
that was private.
Yeah.
And then it was said to go up to the council and apply. So Terry went up and Terry applied.
Yeah.
So, but when your man came down to view the house, because it was done on points at the time, So the more points you had, the more,
The higher up you go.
the higher up you go. So in the minority, if you're in the minority, you'd get higher points.
Okay.
So the person that came to interview me, he was gay.
Oh.
So I was gay. So therefore, he told me it was best if they put the two names down, because that doubles the points, and the fact that you're gay, it triples the points.
Okay.
And within 2-3 weeks, we got the offer of a council place
Wow.
in Red Cross Way, which was only about 5 minutes from where we
you
lived.
were. So you were still in your community.
I was still in the neighbourhood, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But like Terry was saying, how are we going to? Well, I went up. The thing was, Terry said, look, we have to think about this. But I was after saying to my sister, look, we'll lose it if I don't go up.
Yeah.
So my sister says, come on, we could be up and we see. So I went up and I signed Terry's name. But my name was on it as well, you see.
Yeah.
But he was the main, so I signed the name, got the keys, and we went down looking for the apartment.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it because they said it was in Land Street. We went up and down Land Street, but it was a street over Patterson House in Red Cross Way. So when we found it anyway, it was up in the very, very top.
Oh, was it a block of flats?
It was a block of flats. Yeah. There was 10 flats to like there was 50 in the square.
Okay.
But there was 10 in each.
Yeah.
First name. And it was in a horseshoe.
Okay.
And when we went running in, and of course, the one room that we were staying in, and when you could see that you had your own bathroom, a separate toilet, 2 big bedrooms, a massive front room, and then we discovered that there was a balcony, and I remember saying to Teresa, I have even a backyard. It was just the difference in...
Yeah, the space, yeah.
They said, but we had no furniture because the place was furnished where we came from.
Okay, yeah. So this place was empty?
This place was totally empty, and we had a coffee table that we bought. So all we moved in with was a coffee table, a bed, and that was it.
Wow. Well, that was amazing that it happened so quickly.
It happened so quick because it was done in points.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic.
And like for 2 blokes
Yeah.
that didn't have no children, it was amazing how... But anyway, we would let
You
it.
fell on your feet?
It was, but in them days, I think it was a lot easier to get, because it was the area we were in. It was a very, what would you say? It was a very rundown area. It was more officey.
Okay.
Like we're talking about the centre of London now,
Yeah.
London Bridge. Like the bank was only 10 minutes away. Like Monday to Friday, the place used to be thronged with businessmen and all this caper. But Saturday and Sunday, it was just totally, you wouldn't even think it's the same thing.
Gee, yeah.
But the community that were there was brilliant.
Was it?
Mm.
Yeah.
And it was mainly a lot of Irish.
Okay.
Now those places are worth, like if I had bought my apartment, going back when if I could have bought it for 30 odd, is it 30-something thousand pounds? It was worth, before we left, 1 point something million.
Oh my God. You can't be thinking about that.
No, I didn't. No, because it was my home up until the time when I enjoyed it, and it
So
wasn't.
did you stay there then, John, all those years?
All them years,
Did
and
you?
30 odd,
Yeah.
about 30 odd years we stayed there.
And you turned it into a fine home, I'm
I
sure.
would turn it into a
over that
lovely
time.
home, we did. Well, Terry, again, was very, very handy. Terry could turn this into anything. And he made it into a lovely home, really.
Wow. And were you on the ground floor? Or?
No, we were up in the very top.
Oh, you were at the top.
So it was, is it 60-something steps?
Oh.
No lifts. But you never minded walking up because you got so used, you had to get to the top, it never bothered.
You were young.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, but it never bothered you.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So you spent how many years?
30.
30 years there. Gosh. So what about here then? When did you move in here?
Well, then in I had to come back then from England at 2010 because I had to look after my mother.
Yeah.
And then Terry was still in the apartment, so there was repatriation.
Oh, okay.
And someone, when we were coming back, someone said that you go down to the council, or you go to, I don't know who it was that he went,
agency,
repatriation.
Yeah.
But you'd have to give up your apartment. So when I left, I had to take, because it was a joint tenancy. So I had to take my name off the tenancy. And I had to sort of completely, because I was coming away anyway, and that was me finished with 39 parts in the house. That was it. That was it. So Terry then was only living there on his own. So he was coming home anyway.
Yeah.
So there was someone told us about repatriation, and it was Clúid. And it was Clúid. They asked him if he wanted to come back. He had to have an interview here. So he came back here, was interviewed. They gave him a number 10, apartment number 10.
For this building?
In this building, yeah. Wow. He was the first in number 10. Gosh. He was one of the first people there. Yeah. He was one of them that came over. And I was back home in
Cathedral.
But I was had to put my name down because my mother was after dying 2 weeks after I came.
Gosh.
But she left my brother, not Abie, no, my other brother, the house in the will. Oh. So there was a bit of a falling out between me and him because I had to be there to be looking after Abie, and I was his full carer, so...
Yeah.
So I applied for
council,
but I wasn't getting. They were telling me, yes, it's you go and what would you call it? And you look up every Monday, and you put your name down to see.
Never heard of that.
It's and then it's done on points again. You put your name. You apply to a number of houses.
Oh, okay. No, just keeping an eye there. You're okay.
You apply for a number of houses.
Right.
But because I wasn't actually homeless, my name wasn't actually on the list, even though I was told I was on the list.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Because I wasn't homeless. Yeah. So there was, I applied for here. And then what they said was someone else wanted to come in. So number 2 was outside, vacant. And Terry would be involved in this as well. So there would be 2 people taken off the list. There'd be me and Abie taken off the list. But there would be no other house because Terry would move from number 10 into number 2.
Okay.
And we'd be as a family.
Yeah.
Clúid done that then for us, and it was brilliant.
Brilliant. So did Abie come to live here?
Oh, Abie was living with us for about 4 or 5 years.
Was he?
Oh, he loved it here too.
Oh, wow.
You see, 82 didn't turn out to be a very cold house.
Oh, okay.
Turned out in the winter time, the bedclothes would get all real frosty.
Gee.
So, because we had a back burner and the heating wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford to be getting a brand new heating and things like that. So then there was a big change coming from that in here.
Okay.
Because my gas used to be my electric used to be over 400 every 2 months in the winter.
Wow.
Because I used to have to run those heater things. Whereas when I went down there, I didn't have to pay. I'm still in credit.
Oh, wow.
After 8 years.
That's amazing, gosh. So we'll go back to the list of questions, I suppose. So I got when you moved in here and you told me how you came to live here. So your first impression, so obviously Terry was here, so you kind of have an idea about this place.
Oh, yes.
So were you delighted when...
Oh, I was thrilled to bits.
Yeah.
I was thrilled, because I got to know the people here as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that I lived here as much, because I was seen going in, because I used to come down every Monday and Wednesday, because Abie used to go into a day centre. Okay. And Terry used to bring me down here then.
Yeah.
So I loved it down here, and the people I thought were brilliant.
That was great. what difference did it make to get a home at Clúid?
Made a big difference.
Yeah.
Because I had, it was my own home this time again.
Yeah. Security.
I had my own security, whereas before, up in the other place with my brother, I wasn't sure whether what would happen if Abie had died.
Yeah.
I would no longer in his, so I would have had to go into private housing, I suppose, where this happened. It was great when it happened before he died.
Yeah, that's it, that feeling of knowing it's yours.
Knowing that it's your own, you can.
Yeah. Great. So the next section is kind of about redevelopment and that, but these houses were brand new pretty much, or they were new anyway, so...
But there's a lot happened since I came in here, didn't you see?
So how has the place changed since you moved in?
Well, there's 3 schools after opening.
So how many years, John, are you here?
About 8 years, I think, yeah. There's the 3 new schools, there's a new road coming in. 3 schools over.
Wow.
The block, as we call it, over there, that was a derelict place. That's all reopened.
Oh.
So, like when we came down here, there was no schools there. There was only fields and horses inside in there.
Yeah.
And you can see an old cottage up in the back, and it was just open space. Whereas now you had the 3 schools and the kids going to school in the morning. So there's a lot more going on in the morning times.
And is there going to be a lot more building, do you think, around here?
Oh, there is. There's Aldi's is going down there. And then I think they're going to put in like a park in the middle there. Oh, nice. And I think there could be a nursing home going over there. Oh. That's what we were told. Next door then there's going to be more apartments like these.
All right.
Like for...
age-friendly.
Next door. And then on the meadow there's going to be more apartments.
Wow. And
then there's 700 and something else houses going over.
It's going to make big changes.
It's going to make big changes.
Yeah.
Well, it will make an awful lot of changes, but I'd say it won't make much changes to us because the only thing that I don't like is that it's too open for the kids to be cut the roads, because the kids like around the lake.
Yeah.
Kids will be kids, I suppose.
Okay, so what do you love most about your home or your neighbourhood here?
I suppose the friendships.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
Friendships, I suppose, and the community itself is great here, really.
Yeah.
You'd always have a laugh, and there's always a good banter and a good friendly atmosphere, really.
Yeah.
And I suppose the best about me is that I've got my own front door outside, so.
So explain to me a little bit about where you live. So you're not actually in this building?
I'm not, no. I'm at the far end. I'm the only apartment that has an outside door.
Right.
That's why I'm able to have a little dog.
Okay, so you have a dog.
I have a little dog, so that's the reason why. So there's a little garden attached to us.
Right.
So that's great as well.
So you really got the jackpot.
I got the jackpot.
So were there any challenges to come living here? Was there anything like really difficult about it or tricky? Sounds like it was a good move for you.
Oh, it was a brilliant move for me. It was one of the best moves, even though my sister said that she was worried about my brother moving into this kind of community. But when she came down and she saw what the community was and how everyone got on, it changed her mind. She'd like to live here now too.
Yeah, right. Do you have any sense of what the people outside think of people who live in social housing, like what they think about people living here? Do you think there's a bit of a stigma or anything?
Well, Irish people, what's name, they don't... What I find about the Irish people, truthfully now, is that they don't put their names down for social housing. My nephews, I keep telling them, when they were 18, 19, 20, put your name down for social housing. Yeah. You mightn't get it, but your name will be down. And you don't know when. And if 7 years, 8 years, your name is down.
Yeah.
But a lot of Irish kids won't do that.
And do you think that's because they don't want to be part of a social?
I don't know whether it's changed now, but I remember when I came over, I put my name down straight away because I wanted to get into social housing because I wanted my own home.
Of course, yeah.
But then they're out and they're renting, and the rents the rent is too high.
Have you ever felt judged or treated differently because of where you live?
No, because no, not really, no. It wouldn't bother me anyway because it's my home.
Exactly, yeah.
So I wouldn't, because like social housing, it's your home and you're paying your rent for it, so it's not the council, it's your home.
Yeah.
It's you make it your home. So I never wouldn't judge anyone just because they have a big house and they're able to pay for it, and that's grand. That's great for them. But I can do the same with mine.
Absolutely, yeah. So what about the community here? You mentioned a few times that there was a nice feel when you came here, a nice community.
Oh, there really is,
Yeah.
when I first came here, because like with Abie, I would be worried in case but no, they just took him to heart.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And it was, yeah, and it makes you feel good in, and but like of course there's a lot of people that stick to themselves all the time, but those that did, and like during COVID, we were a community in ourselves, so we were able to go out in the garden.
Yeah.
And we were together, we weren't on our own.
Yeah.
Because I remember the COVID was the time when there was great weather there.
Yes.
And a lot of people were stuck inside in their homes, whereas we could go in the back. We didn't have, and then there was people in there who would go out and do the shopping.
Okay.
So people that couldn't go out, there was always someone there to get, so you were never on your own.
Can you share a memory that captures the spirit of the community? Like what you were saying about COVID there sounds great. Like people made an effort to really help.
When we first came in here, there was no flowers, there was nothing, it was just, there was no colour, there was no, but Davina did say, make the place your own. She said, it's your home now. She said, you make the place your own. Because I was after doing up my mother's garden before I came down, and she saw pictures of that. And I was after making the lovely, I have no pictures because my phone blew up. And she saw that and she said, look, I want the same thing down here. So she said, so she gave us the permission to go and to do it.
Right.
So I started off my own little place. And then Peggy and Margaret came, and then they joined in, and then there was another few upstairs. There was Skinny Mick, and there was Aidan Gorman. Aidan Gorman was there, and we used to be out doing the garden, and the laughs we used to have. We used to go out there. We said 9 o'clock in the morning, and we wouldn't come in till 9 o'clock, and the laughter would be. And even people up in the apartments that couldn't come down, they'd be listening to us laughing. And then they'd come down at the end of the night when we finished, and we'd have tea or we might have a drink, and we'd have a great laugh then.
What do you wish people understood about life in social housing?
Well, you see, like social housing, it could be like this is in a community, this is in a block of flats.
Yeah.
And a lot of Irish people don't like living in blocks of flats.
But what would you say to them about it?
It's still a home, you still got your own front door. A lot of people think this is like a hotel. My brothers and sisters think this is like a hotel. And if you see the rooms and the things, they can't believe that how lovely they are. Yeah. I think their impression is that they're like tenements all over again.
Yeah. You know? So you think for people, especially if somebody even has a council house of their own, to move into some place like this is a really good thing as you get older.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Sure, listen, if you're up and if you've got your own home, you have to pay for everything. If your rent, and if your gas goes, or if your water goes, or if something goes, you'll have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Whereas all we have to do is phone up. If you've got any leaks or anything, If you're in a private house or your own home, you have to go in and pay for it. You have to find a plumber, you have to find a carpenter, whereas we all have that in hand.
Yeah.
We just have to phone up and they're down near enough straight away and they're fixed. So you have no worries about things like that. So that is a great plus. Because when I was up in the other house, I would, if the lights went out, I had no way of, I'd have to look around to see an electrician.
Yeah.
Then I'd have to find the money to pay for it, whereas that's all included.